Good morning and welcome to Capuchin TV on this special interview with me, Maureen Kimani. Writing is one of the most things that is commonly used by people where they share their thoughts, feelings, and also ideas. Today being joined by one of the writers, that is Sister Mutheu, and she is going to introduce herself. And Sister, hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.
And so maybe you can tell to the viewer about yourself, your name.
My name is Sister Magdalene Musau. I'm a sister of mercy. I worked in Mukuru. We have Mukuru Promotion Center, so I work there as a teacher. And currently I'm in counseling, and I work in Chemchemi as part-time. And also do.
First thing, congratulations, because we understand that it is your first book. Yes. Congratulations and all the very best in your writing. And you know, many people have also found a way to maybe solve a solution. When you read a book, you know, sharing the experiences of the writer, you're able to find solution on what is happening in your life and even sharing to your friends. Maybe you can tell us where you grew up in and what did you ever imagine maybe one day you could be a writer?
I grew up in Makueni. I'm from Makueni County, and I grew up, I'm a last born in my family. And I grew up with, I follow 4 boys, and so most of my time was spent alone. And so I think it's something that I cultivated for a long time, actually, when I was growing up. So it was something I think that was nurtured by the environment, by the situation as it were, and so that kind of made me a person who kind of looks inwards, for solutions, because I had my other brothers were not so close in age, and so I had to look for solutions for myself a lot of the times, with our parents being out of our lives much because of work.
Okay, did you ever imagine yourself being a writer, or maybe you have a history in your family, you have a writer that's when you are looking up to, it's something that is within you?
No, we don't have actually. I don't have anyone that I know as a writer.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think I'm the first one. But even when I was small, I was a good writer. My compositions were outstanding when I was in primary school. I used to do poems, write poems for my nephews, and so to perform in school or in Sunday school. And so like that, I had a kind of a neat something. I had something about writing, but I didn't imagine that I would ever be a writer, actually. Yeah.
Okay, wow. And maybe you can tell us what inspired you, because writing, it's not a very simple thing. It's a time consuming. What made you to write a book?
What made me write a book actually was my mom. I was very conscious that we didn't know a lot about my family growing up. Anything I asked my parents, they said, "Oh, we don't remember really." So I had to get a lot of information from many different people to kind of tie things together to understand my grandparents. Because when I grew up, when I was born, all our grandparents had died. And so we didn't have any connection with history or with other extended family as such. And so I grew up to be very inquisitive. So it's an aspect that I have. And so I was conscious that, if my parents then are not there, then it means that our family history is kind of going to disappear. And so I was kind of writing. When I've been writing also to capture bits and pieces that I've had here and there about the family and also extended family. And as I grew up and started working, I realized they were not unique stories. Even though our story was about our own family, when I was working with with children in Mukuru, I realized they had similar stories when I've been working in counseling and helping people out. They're struggling basically with the same issues. And so I thought, okay, why not use that as a landing and as a grounding to expose or to kind of talk about things that people don't find very easy to talk about, because they are ashamed, you know.
Oh, right. So that is because you said that you lived in Mukuru and you found maybe some people you interacted with. What made you choose the title, The Change You Want Is Within You?
What made me choose this title was the influence I had with life, with people who have been very supportive, you know, to me, to help me look inwards and to look for solutions from inside of myself. And so that's the reason I thought this could be fitting. But it was also influenced by Mahatma Gandhi's statement, that's a popular saying about be the change that you want to see in the world. And so I thought, okay, maybe if we look inside of ourselves, we can, you know, tackle a lot of issues that we think are actually outside of us. And so that's why I thought this. Actually, this was not the original title. It has changed names many times until I came to settle on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand that on 21st November, you'll be launching your first book.
Yes.
Okay, maybe you can tell us like maybe a little bit of some information.
Yeah, so on the 21st, I launched this book. It is the first book and the only book I've written. And we'll be launching it actually in a place that I hold close in my heart. Mukuru Promotion Center was the first center that I worked in. It's owned by the Sisters of Mercy, and it takes care of children from the slum population. And so I taught there for 11 years, and so it was fitting that I should take the journey back to where it started, because that's where initially the journey started of writing. And so we're going to have the launching at 2 p.m. on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 21st. And basically we'll be just bringing the book out to the world and telling them it's out officially.
All the very best.
Thank you.
And maybe we can talk about maybe where you got the information and the ideas. You know, developing a content and writing a book, it can never be very easy. You have to dedicate yourself, your mind, you know, and you have to consult maybe even other people. Maybe you can tell us how was the journey?
This book is 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So it started actually in Mukuru in 2006, around about that time. And it's a mix of different life experiences, both in my own life, in people that I love their lives, and people that I've taught, people I've worked with. It's like it's like a wholesome of a lot of experiences of people. So most of, I say 90%, if not 100%, is based on life experiences of people and real life stories, you know. So it is human experience that has made me write this book. So whatever you read through is based on life experience.
Okay, tell us maybe how you developed the plot and the characters involved in the book.
These characters are people that, I think what has played a big part in this book is my own life experience, my own people really close to me, people I care about, whose experiences whose experiences are narrated in the story. So it wasn't really difficult to kind of find life experiences that blend or that merge with those particular experiences, kind of to give it weight or to give it depth. The depth was already there because it concerned people that I know, people that I have interacted with in life. And so I don't think it was such a big issue. But the way I think the reason it has taken so many years is because a lot of people, a lot of publishers wanted to fit my story into their story, into the whichever way they publish books, which is fine, but it was there's a way, there's something that I wanted to be captured that is particular to this book. And so when it didn't fit in, so I got a lot of also rejections, and until finally I thought, okay, I still felt passionately that is something I want to share to the world, I want people to relate with, and so I went the self-publishing way. Finally, even though I still had opportunities to publish, but still I had to change it to fit into that, and I didn't want to lose something. I think maybe it's my creativity in it to be able to kind of put it in the world.
Okay, I understand that, making your mind for 14 good years, developing a content, and you have to write and make sure your ideas and everything, whatever you write, is it's very informative to other people. What are the most surprising things that you have learned on the process of writing this book?
I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is to believe in your own dream, and not to let other people to water it down or despise it or tell you it doesn't fit in with them. Because I think each one of us has been given, we've been given our own vision, our own purpose, and it needs to be exactly that way, not as a duplicate of other people's ideas. Yeah, and so that is one thing I've learned, is just sticking by your dream and by your purpose, and ensuring that actually it is carried out. And because I think most of the conflict comes with when I want to change you to fit into what I want, so that and then we lose a lot of ourselves by doing that, because then whatever you came here to bring, whatever you came here to give, then gets watered down. And so that's one big lesson that I've learned while publishing this book. The other thing is it is not easy to publish a book. I'm telling you, it has been hard work, it has been hectic, it has given me sleepless nights, because I don't know what is the reason, but I think it's also based on the same. It's like, just keeping, what is it I really want about this? Why am I, I think I had to keep asking myself, is this book really worth the struggle? Is it worth the struggle? But then when I think, as I'm working with people, there are times I feel, I wish I could read this book a little bit. It could maybe support them in whatever they are working through or whatever is going on, So I thought. I think it's really connected with that. It's like believe in your dream strong enough to stand by it, no matter what the challenges are. I think what kept me going with the book and really trusting, okay, maybe it needs to be out, is that same challenge, but also, why do I want it to be out? Why have I written this book actually? And that, I think, kind of kind of pushed it to be born or to be published. Yeah. So that has been a big. So anybody who is willing to engage with this journey is not. It's not easy. It is hard work. There's a lot of challenges. There are a lot of people that I've talked to for support, even to be able. And you know what? This is. Again, this book is not just a book, it is a working book. So it's like when I was writing this book, I had to do a lot of work on myself to be able to allow the things that are in the book to come out, It's a very vulnerable place, and so because that's also something that I want to put out, or to produce in this particular book, then I feel that as anybody who wants to engage with this book, I don't think it's going to be an easy thing to go to work with, because it's also a workbook. It's both a you know, a reflection of life experiences, and there are parts where I'm inviting the reader to engage with the work. And so it's going to be to call upon oneself to really go deep and work on themselves.
Okay.
Like I've done and I'm still doing.
That's a very good thing and very inspiring, knowing that you are a woman and I am a woman. So I'm looking up to you because I want to be a writer maybe for some years to come. So we're going to take a very short break and we have a very short clip of you, the history of you playing, and we'll get to know more about you and some of the reviews of the people that have written about it. And then later we'll be joined by one of our guests. She is a reader and she has read about the book and she's going to share her experiences. So let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Kipaimara ni sakramenti yenye kumpa Mkristo Roho Mtakatifu na ukamilifu wa mapaji yake 7, kumfanya Mkristo mkamilifu na kumfanya shahidi hodari wa Yesu Kristo mpaka kufa.
Kupata kipaimara kama sikiza tuni yako, tuma neno sikiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100272 kwa 811. Capuchin TV, a Catholic Broadcasting Ministry. Misa takatifu ya kila siku ni kama ifuatavyo: saa 1 kamili asubuhi, saa 7:30 mchana, saa 12 jioni na saa 2:30 usiku.
Go forth, the mass is ended. Thanks be to God.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, tunakuenzi na kukudhamini.
Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days and seek immediate medical attention or report to the nearest health center. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners. For accurate information on COVID-19, dial *719# or call 719. Follow us on Twitter at MOH_Kenya, at spokesperson GOK, at WHO.
Liturujia Katoliki, sakramenti, kuungama, ekaristi, sala, nyimbo, neno la Mungu, ibada takatifu. Jiunge nasi kila siku ya Jumapili saa 1:30 usiku na Jumatatu saa 4 asubuhi kwa liturujia Katoliki na Padre Boniface Mukwe. Sakramenti ni nini na misingi yake iko wapi katika Biblia takatifu? Wavijua vipindi vya Kanisa Katoliki? Ni alama na vyombo gani vinavyotumika katika maadhimisho ya ibada zetu? Ungana nasi kila siku ya Jumanne saa 1:30 jioni katika kipindi cha Sakramenti na Biblia. Ni kutoka hapa Capuchin TV, tukiikuza imani Katoliki kwa pamoja.
Ekaristi. Sakramenti ya Ekaristi ni sakramenti ya mwili na damu ya Yesu Kristo aliye kweli katika maumbo ya mkate na divai.
Kupata Ekaristi takatifu kama skiza tuni yako, tuma neno skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100271 kwa 811.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days and seek immediate medical attention or report to the nearest health center. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners. For accurate information on COVID-19, dial *719# or call 719. Follow us on Twitter at MOH_Kenya, at spokesperson GOK, at WHO.
Welcome back to this interview with me, Maureen Kimani. And before we had gone for a break, I told you we're going to be having a guest. She is a reader. She has read this book. It's called The Change You Want Is Within You. And something surprising about this book, and I have to read a question that is posing before you start. It says, have you stopped lately and wondered, who are you at present? Do you need to appreciate anything at all in your life right now? That's a question, and you have to think about it. Anyway, welcome guys back, and Sister Musau and Madam Caroline, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe you can tell us your name and what you do.
Well, my name is Caroline Mbithe. Right now, I work as a health worker. I am in the front office in one of the projects of Kuru.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sister told me that you were her student.
Yes.
Maybe sister, you can tell us more about her. And because you have told us that she has read the book. Like, how do you feel about this book sister has written? What is your thought?
Well, I think this book is a change agent, if I can say that. It speaks to each and everyone. I would say that everyone who would have a chance to read this book would relate to it in one way or the other. A woman, a young woman, an older woman, the males, young or older, they would relate with the book. So this is a very good piece. It's very creative. It has sense of humor in it.
Wow.
It's not boring. It's like you're just there reading. It has short chapters. Like you don't have to get lost. Where was I last time? It's a very interesting book that is going to change people's minds.
Okay, wow, that's really amazing. And sister, maybe you can tell us what advice would you give to a person who is wanting, or maybe who is aspiring to be a writer like you, and maybe working on their first book?
I mean, I would say that be willing to stand up for your book. Be willing to stand up for whatever you want to pass to the world, because at times you might be the only person who might have to stand by it. And, just stand by it, believe in it, and, you'll be able, if you believe in your message enough, you'll be able to withstand any obstacle. So it's like it's not easy work. Sometimes I think I've listened also to some writers. Some of them do it very easy. It's I think for me, publishing in this country still is a very small number. It belongs to a very small number of population, and it's expensive. And except for the Sisters of Mercy, thanks to them for being able to help me print out this book. I wouldn't have been able, it would not have been out, by the way, because you know, so if you're a writer, be willing to invest in it, be willing to do a lot of work to you know, to make your product you know, worth reading and changing people's lives. And I think there are readers there. I think there are people who are willing to read and to read new things, new ideas, and you know, so you know, that's what I would say.
All right, thank you, sister.
Yeah.
And Madam Caroline, I have a question for you. Because like we understand that this book, it's a real life based story, and the sister has told us like it's some of the experiences maybe she has encountered. Have you ever maybe encountered what is written here, or maybe anyone?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that, because as I was reading the book, I felt like I was Melly. You know, Melly is the main character.
Yeah, the main character, yes.
So I saw a lot of me in Melly. You know, her experiences, her strengths, some of her setbacks. I related with them at a very personal level. And as I was reading the book, it's like I was drifting in a story of my own. You know, I forgot I am reading. It's like I was seeing a movie of my life. So I really do relate with it.
Okay. How? Maybe, sister, you can tell us, what do you think about the person who is going to read this book? Because we understand it's your first book, and we're hoping and we know that you're going to write more of them. What would you tell them?
The reader, what I would tell the reader, and I've had some little feedback from those who have read, what I would tell the reader is to see, basically I think what Caroline has said, is my hope actually when I was writing the book, my hope was that the reader will be able to not only read the story, but be able to relate it with their own lives and see the places within themselves that needs change. That needs to change, because basically I believe if we change from within, then we impact people. If it's a mother, she impacts on her children, how she brings up her children. If it's a husband, how he relates with the wife. If it's a wife, how she relates. So everybody is in that particular book, and it's like a challenge for each one of us to be able to look within and see the places that need change, so that we can bring healing to the world.
Okay.
So I hope that it will reach that goal for the reader.
Okay, that's very amazing. And maybe before we pose another question to our madam here, Caroline, you can tell us where we can acquire maybe the book, maybe where we can purchase the book. Yes.
The book currently is just with me, but there is also a sister in Tumaini who is, Tumaini is along Gong Road. If people are living around that area, in AOSK, if anybody inquires from AOSK or from my number, which I'm going to give at the end of this interview, I would, you know, that's how I'm selling the books right now.
Okay,
yeah, thank you.
And how about you talk to our viewer and tell them about this book launch that is going to be happening on 21st of November, and the time and the venue.
So there's a book launch on the 21st at MPC. MPC is along Likoni Road. I brag about MPC because it's the only place in industrial area with a lot of trees. Along Likoni Road is MPC. We're going to start the launch from 2 p.m. until say 4 or 5, and the book is going on that day. The book is going for 2,000 shillings, and that will be the entry. The entry to the venue will be the book, a copy of the book, and you're welcome. Anybody who wants to come and support us is welcome, and get a copy for herself or himself. So welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Caroline, we understand that this book, it has some of the experiences of finding out you have maybe a family relative who is a drunkard, and you see some of the, you know, experiences being posed in this. What do you tell maybe a person coming from that background?
So I would tell that person coming from a background where maybe a parent is a drunkard, maybe a brother, a sister, because I believe it affects people the same. You could be having a drunkard mother and you think, this is just my brother who's a drunkard. But I would tell that person not to feel belittled. You know, there's a tendency of people feeling like my mother is a drunkard, so I am ashamed, I am little, I cannot stand in front of people. They forget that this is your mother, yes, or this is your brother, yes, but they are a person on their own. So what can you learn from this person who makes you, in quotes, makes you feel like you're little? You cannot stand in front of people. Like our family is a shameful kind of family, you know. So that kind of a family is a functional family, I would say. It's a family like any other. These are the challenges that happen in daily lives. You know, when I was growing up, I would look up at other families and I would say, oh, I wish I came from that family. You know, theirs is better. Well, my own mother used to drink. That's why I said I relate a lot to this book. So I would feel like, no, I don't want my mom to come visit me at school. What if my friends know that my mom drinks, you know? At the end of the day, now as an adult, I look back and I realize that my mother was just my mother. Regardless of what she did, that was her life. And as a result of her being a drunkard, it makes me see today life differently. Like there are things that I wouldn't want my daughter to see from me, you know. There are things I would do differently from my mom. So mom was a teacher to me in the ways that she could not tell even. Yes.
Well, I can see sister nodding a lot. And what do you feel about her feedback?
I'm proud of Caroline. I've known her since she was a little child, you know, a 12-year-old or something. I taught her, so it is nice to be able to impact her as a grown-up, you know, not only as a young girl, but also as a grown-up. And what makes me happy is that me knowing Caroline, I know her daughter is going to have a different mother, basically, and I am proud of that, you know. I'm really happy about that. Yeah.
You know something very interesting is how you're getting her feedback right now. She has read the book and you can see she can relate to it. She said it's like a movie in her life. And I'm very happy about you and congratulations and wishing you all the very best. Yes. And maybe if you have something to tell the viewer, or maybe a little advice or whatever you want to say.
Really, I want to be really grateful to Capuchin TV for having me and Caroline, and for offering us the opportunity to be able to speak about this book. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would be sitting here talking about it, but I'm really happy. Seriously, I'm happy to the sisters, you know, really grateful to the Sisters of Mercy for supporting me in producing this book, and all the ways that the sisters have supported me. I'm really grateful, and I just want to encourage people not to let their dreams be drowned by the difficulties and you know, the challenges that we are meeting, whether it is in acting or is in painting or whatever somebody can do, that we can allow our creativity to come. And you know, this is just one part of creativity. There are a lot of people who are being creative in the world and serving the church in their own way, with their own talents, like you're doing, you know. So I hope that each one of us can allow that to happen and be the best we can be.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Caroline, what do you have to say about this book and something to tell sister?
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Sister Magdalene.
Thank you,
so
Carol.
much. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
We're going far.
Thank you.
I know you, and I know Sister Magdalene from a personal point of view, also as a professional. As she said, she was my teacher. She was my counselor at some point. So she is a great mentor of mine. I look up to her so much.
I also look up to her.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
And maybe as we wind up, you can share your contacts, and maybe someone if has a question.
My contacts are here. My number is 07. You can take a card. Carol, you have. My number is 0736449881 or 254-721-619705. And my email is mg, small letters, mgfeellie@yahoo.co.uk. And so if anyone wants to make any contact, they can go through those contacts.
Or maybe if they have a question about the book.
If they have any question, they can on those numbers. I would appreciate, actually. I would appreciate feedback.
Okay.
And it's going hopefully to go on Amazon before the end of the year, or I'll communicate. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I must say it was very nice. I'm glad meeting you both. You're both phenomenal, and I'm so glad. It was very amazing. And I hope you're going to grab this copy. It's very interesting, by the way, and as you have heard from Caroline, it has also some sense of humor. And the title, "The Change You Want Is Within You. What do you want to do?" And so many people think, some people think, well, if you want to change something, the other person has to do it. But what people don't understand, it has to start within yourself, and you have to do it. So make sure you grab this copy. Attend to the book launch on 21st November. Exactly. On Saturday.
Next Saturday,
Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you both. It was good time, and thank you so much for joining us. We are going to wind up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. And so that's all we had for today. Till next time, I am Maureen Kimani, and my guest has been
Sister Magdalene Musau, Sisters of Mercy.
And
Caroline Bebe.
thank you so much. Do have a lovely day ahead.
Thank you.